And the fact that Sherese is making me like Zadia even more is scaring me, okay? Is anybody else going through that? I'm like, dang, Sherese is making me like Zadia. And I did not like Zadia from DC. Oh. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brenda Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brenda Yvonne. Here at my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows, y'all. It's Friday night, so of course we are talking OWN's new show. It's a spinoff of Ready to Love called Make a Move, or Ready to Make a Move, whatever it's called. It's season 1, episode 3, titled Seeing Double. Before we get into it, y'all, I just want to say thank you for continuing to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up button. Thank you for commenting, and make sure you share the video where you like to share the videos. Y'all really been coming through with the support, with the subscribing, and the likes of it all. So I just wanted to say thank you to y'all and keep it up. We growing this channel. You gotta keep it up. All right, so I'm trying to put lotion on my hands, y'all, but you know when the lotion bottle about to end, I'm just squeezing stuff out. Anywho, this episode was cute or whatever. You know, it gave a little something, but not too much. But you know what? The dates and the conversations were interesting. I'll have to give them that. So let's get into it. Probably won't be here long, y'all. So episode starts off where we left off last week in the kitchen with Sherese and Zadia arguing, fussing, and fighting. It's really Sherese arguing with herself because Zadia wasn't giving her too much energy. And the fact that Sherese is making me like Zadia even more is scaring me, okay? Is anybody else going through that? I'm like, dang, Sherese is making me like Zadia. And I did not like Zadia from DC. Oh, I could not stand that girl. She wasn't even cute to me. In this episode, I was like, Zadia is pretty. And that's no shade. I'm not trying to talk about nobody's looks. I don't think she was ugly. I think it's kind of like what they say, ugly on the inside can bring out ugly on the outside. And she kind of acted ugly, or she did act ugly on the inside down in DC. So to me, she kind of, that came out. That's kind of what came out, and I didn't think she was that pretty because she had that nasty attitude. But this, you know, this Zadia here, I'm like, okay, Zadia, you know, she's switching her wigs. She's serving looks. She doing her makeup. And I was like, okay, Zadia, okay, I see you, sis. I see you this time. So anywho, yeah, so that's where we was at on that. But anywho, Zadia was just standing there, and Sherese is going back and forth. Ashley's like, sis, don't leave the kitchen, friend. Don't leave the kitchen. And she's like, no, because I'm tired of being disrespected. And she going to have me waking up at 7 in the morning like I'm the door person. I told her I ain't the door person. I'm like, girl, anybody thought you was the door person. Like, you can go back to sleep. It's not that serious. Now, granted, don't nobody like they sleep broken up, but it was not that deep. Like, she was giving it way too much. Zadia was like, nah, she thinks she don't gotta take no accountability and all this stuff. Ashley was like, child, let me just go on back to making this food. Vernesha was deep in the pots. She didn't want no parts of it. Ashley said in her confessional that she was all just trying to get back to cooking so these angry birds can chill out. She was like, I was wishing I was I dream a genie, a bewitched or something to zap myself out of there. I said, I know that's right, Ashley. Anyway, I think Sherese stormed off or something. She said, you know, she left her peace at home to be here. Okay, girl. And didn't nobody ask you to do that. You chose to be on this reality show. Girl, bye. Sherese is unhinged. I'm sorry. Anywho, the next morning, Vernesha and Zadia are in the kitchen and they're making eggs, whatever. They look like they just worked out or something. And so Vernesha said that Zadia felt bad about everything that happened. Vernesha said it really threw off the energy in the house and she wants them girls to do better. They need to focus on finding the man. That's true. Side note, Vernesha, girl, you be slicking that hair, lay that hair. But she is a hairdresser. And those earrings, when she had to pull one of those pullback ponytail looks, she had a few of them. But she had some big dramatic earrings on. I love them. I love a dramatic earring. I don't like simple earrings. Like, these are boring to me, but you know, they for work. But I love dramatic earrings. I like interesting looking earrings. So I was feeling those. I'm gonna need those. So, anywho, next we see dates. So we see basically Ashley and Zadia are both gonna go on a date with a guy named Kirsten. Never heard of a guy named Kirsten. He was cute though. And later on we're gonna see Sherese and Vernesha go on a date with a man named Walter. So Tamika this week set the ladies up with the same man. Now, I thought from the previews that all 4 ladies were going to date with the same man, but she did 2 and 2. So, actually, I like that better, I think. All right, so first we see, let's talk about Ashley. So, Ashley, she's talking about the question. She wanted a tall, dark, handsome man. You know, she wanted it all. So she gets to the table, she see Kirsten, she's like, oh my God, my prayers for answer. She's just happy to see him. She's like, oh, you are fine, you look good. She doing so much. I was like, Ashley, calm down. Act like you've seen a fine man before. But I get it, but calm down, girl. She was doing the most. I was like, Ashley, relax. And she's like, I'm just so happy. She's like, yes, I'm like a kid in the Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. My mom said, and I'm at the playground. My mom said I got all the time I want to take here. And so she was just so happy to have this tall, fine man. I was like, dang, girl, you doing the most. So he asked her what her favorite, what she would order at Chick-fil-A. I think she said a 12-piece nugget. I was like, I didn't even know they did 12-piece, or maybe I only be getting to 3 or 4. I don't know. She said 2 srirachas, and he trying to share the meal. She don't want to share. She barely want to give a bite. He's like, you gonna order a Sprite or Coke? She said Sprite. He said Coke. She's like, oh, that's okay. I'll order both. She gonna order whatever Kristen orders. She don't care. Then they talk about their favorite movie. I think he said Life, which I love that movie too, but it's not my favorite. And she's like, oh my God, we just become best friends. Oh my God. And she's high-fiving him. And I was like, oh, Ashley. Ashley, you be making me cringe, but I love you, girl. It was kind of giving friend vibes to me. I don't know. Actually, I need her to like learn how to pull back a tad bit when it's time. Love her energy, but sometimes I think she needs to figure out how to like work it in an appropriate way. But you know, she got to be herself. So, you know, he seemed like he was feeling her, though. He did seem like he was feeling her. But I was kind of getting a little bit of friend vibes and stuff. But they were laughing and talking, having a good conversation. I guess I got on the topic of siblings. She has 6 younger brothers, I believe, and a sister, she said. He has, I think he said 5 or 6 siblings, and he's the youngest. And she said, oh, you're the baby. And so I think then they somehow got on the topic of kids. And she said she wants a kid, but she's terrified. She don't know. You know, her nose gonna get big, her body gonna get big. She don't know if she gonna be able to unbig her back. I said, I know that's right, girl, because we trying to unbig our backs right now. She said she liked the size she asked, and she don't want to, you know, mess it up. He's like, oh, you don't mess up that figure. Okay, feel it. But he asked her if she said she's like a kid whisperer. She said she would do good with a kid. She knows she would be a good mom. Because he asked her if she'd be a good mom, and she said she knows she would. She was all wiping his sweat, telling her she got to wipe off her trophy and tell him how good he looks, and he's saying, you know, look into the future of my head or something. They was making stupid jokes, and so, you know, he's playing it all up. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I think she should definitely go ahead and dump Donald, in my opinion. But that's just me. Then across town, we do see Zadia and Kirsten go on a date, and so Kirsten said he's definitely like blown away by Zadia, like she's really, really beautiful. And so she's telling him she's from DC. He's like, he couldn't even talk. He's like, I'm just taking it all in. They got like a shrimp and lobster towers for hours and hours served to them. So he prayed over the food, but he said he gonna do a silent prayer. And she was like, what? And he was like, just say amen when I say amen. She's like, what? He's like, I'm just gonna pray in silence. You say amen when I say amen. And I was like, no, we need to pray out loud, Kirsten. We need to pray out loud. And so she said in the confessional she wasn't feeling that silent prayer because she needed to know what you saying to God. What are you saying to Jesus? Like, you know, we need to know, are you on the main line or not? So she said she did a silent prayer to, you know, cancel out whatever he said to make sure it was all good, okay? Because she didn't want to be sitting up the wrong stuff to God. I said, I know that's right, Zadia. So anywho, they were talking at the table, and they got on the topic of kids, I believe. And so she said she don't see kids for her. Kids are not for her. She don't see it for the kid thing. I think they talked about siblings as well. And so she said, you know, maybe she could do a gift a kid. Is it possible? Maybe she could, but not really, you know, her thing. And he was like, gift me? And I was like, oh, no, we're using Jeffrey's words from Miami, gifting kids. When you have a kid by man, you are not gifting him nothing, trust me. So anywho, because some of them gifts, they be trying to return to sender and not pay child support. Anywho, he was asking her, you know, how's he doing? Is he trending with her? Is he doing good? She's like, okay, you doing all right. You doing all right. I don't think Zadia was really feeling Kirsten like that. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I definitely think she has a much better connection with Cameron for sure. Okay, so then somewhere else in New Orleans, my clothes is done in the dryer, y'all. Somewhere else around town, we do see Vernesha go on a date with Walter. So they go to this place where they did a cooking lesson to make oh, what was it? Was it crawfish etouffee? I don't know if I said it right. Anyway, so you know, the white lady Karen was showing them how to make stuff. And so I like their energy. I actually really liked Walter and Vernesha together. I don't know, something, the way they were standing so close, like it was like, okay. And so he's like, oh, you're just going to let me whisk this food? That's all you're going to let me do is whisk it? And so he said he does cook. And Vernesha was intrigued by that because she normally does all the cooking. And she likes, you know, she want to let the man cook sometimes. She want to take a break. She want to sit down. Then they were talking about possibly moving and stuff because she was asking him about, you know, I live in Houston and you live in New Orleans, like, you know, how would that work? And so he was like, oh, are you saying like, you know, would I move here or, you know, would you move there, you know, here or what is it? And so he's like, well, you know, if two people want to make something work, you know, we can make it work. I said, you better throw out a line, Walter. Walter was smooth with it. He was real smooth with it. And Vernesha liked him because she's like, he's a manly man. He's good with his hands and all that. He's nice looking. I like their chemistry. Walter said that he really liked Vernesha. He reminded her of somebody from his neighborhood, like, you know, she's a Southern girl. Like he really liked that. Walter and Kirsten both had confessionals. I was like, is they new cast members? Like, what is going on? Anywho, Walter said he doesn't like dating multiple women, but you know, he's looking for love, so that's why he's doing the process. Side note, Kirsten put on a pink shirt to go see Ashley, then he changed to a blue shirt to go see Zadia. I said, what they tell him to change in the car and walk over around the corner to go see Zadia? Anywho, but yeah, Vernesha and Walter had a pretty good date, and so he said, you know, if things work out, they first meal they have in a place together, it's gonna be a crawfish etouffee. And he was saying, you know, people complain about how much it costs, but you know, all the whisk, he didn't know how much effort you got to put into making it. So anyway, across town we do see Sherese and Walter go on a date. So they're going on like I don't know what you call that thing, but I think they had horses and the little thing you sit in. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, they going on one of them like carriage type of rides, but not like a regular carriage. Y'all know what it was. Anywho, I don't know what they call it in New Orleans. So he had Prosecco. My sister loved her some Prosecco. He had Prosecco and glasses for them. And so Sherese came with her yellow. And so they were getting to know each other. Walter said he's born and raised in New Orleans. He's been around the world. But, you know, New Orleans is home. He's like, this is all culture to me. He said he really loves music. We find out he is a producer, or no, a writer. So he's written for Lil Boosie, Young Jeezy, and T-Pain. I said, let me find out he was writing Jeezy's rhymes. Let me find out. So anywho, he said he's married before for 19 years, but, you know, that didn't work out. And Sherese is like, okay, but, you know, you probably learned from it. Sherese said, you know, she's at the point in her career where she's achieved and she just, you know, been putting so much of her work first, so now she's trying to find love. She said she appreciated him because he actually spoke, because people want to be on dates just looking at you, not talking. And he was like, well, you beautiful to look at. He's like, you came dressed right. You know, this is hot sun. He said, we're going to drink this Prosecco and figure out what we're going to do next and have a good time. And so I know that's right. I thought Walter and Sherese would be a better fit than Maurice the Mute. So but we're going to see what's going on. Well, to me, they disappointed me, but we'll get to that. But Sherese did say Walter was handsome looking, and you know, she liked him as well. She did. And she liked the fact that he communicated. She kept stressing that because, you know, Maurice wasn't talking, y'all. So yeah, those were the two blind dates, okay? So then, next we see Ashley and Zadia talking at the house, and so they talking about their dates, and they found out they both went on a date with Kirsten. And then Sherese came in, and so Zadia tells Ashley, like, hey, girl, can you give me and Sherese a moment? Because I want to talk to her. Because I just, you know, I didn't like how things went. So she tells her to come sit closer to her on the sofa. Okay? And she was like, you know, what happened with us? really changed the energy in the house, and I just kind of want to reset. I want to go back. She's like, if I offended you in any way, I did anything to you, I do want to apologize. Like, sorry, I woke you up, all that stuff. And so Sherese at confessional saying, oh yeah, she's apologizing, but I'm not really buying it. She's just mad because I exposed her little secret. I was like, girl, what? Like, why you just can't move forward? Like, why are you so, like, determined to make Zadia look like a bad person or whatever it is? Like, the fact that I gotta defend Zadia is bothering me. Is it bothering anybody else? So Sherese is like, so Zadia was like, I just didn't, like, next time if you got a problem with me, you need to come to me and say it. Like, I don't understand, we can address it a different way. And so Sherese is like, what are you talking about? I didn't say that. She's like, look, let me tell you, like, I just want to did this. You're the one keeping this going. This happened like 2 or 3 days ago. I just want to move forward. I don't want to discuss this anymore. This is making me uncomfortable. And I was like, what, Sherese? You're the one that kept the mess going in the first place. Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, first of all, she again talking about being woken up, and they going back and forth again. And so Zadia, I'm gonna give Zadia her props because she tried her hardest to de-escalate. Okay, she was like, okay, Sherese, but I want to grow and I want to, take accountability. And so, I want to learn and grow. And so Sherese is like, okay, if you want to grow, then you need to take what I said and you need to grow from it. Zadia's like, but you ain't said nothing. And she ain't said nothing. And Sherese talking about, oh yeah, in her confession, like, oh, she's just mad because, we caught her to lie because I don't like people who lie to me. That's what Sherese said in the confessional. And I was like, girl, Zadia didn't lie to you. She lied to Tamika Lee in the audience, but she didn't lie to y'all. Ashley knew she was out playing all night with Cameron. Vernesha knew she was out all night with Cameron, and you knew it. So who did she didn't lie to you? Like, come on. Oh my God. Sherese wants to make Zadia look like, she just did something wrong. And so I just couldn't do it. I was like, what does Sherese want? At this point, what does Sherese want? Like, really? So anywho, next we do see Sherese go on a date with Maurice the Mute. They went to have a little picnic. Maurice had on his Louis Vuitton slides. And so I guess they had like fruit and wine and all that stuff. And so she was saying, like, she does want him, she's saying she wants to get him to talk more and all that good stuff. And so he was saying, like, oh, I don't have, she's like, ask me some questions, mix me up, do something. And so he was like, oh, I don't have any questions for you. He was like, trust me, like, I get everything I need to know just by looking at a person. I could tell a lot about you. I got everything I need to know. I was like, oh, he's giving weird. She was saying, oh, I can see you like Louis Vuitton because he had them slides on. And he was like, oh yeah, I like nice things. And he's like, I can tell you do too. I was like, oh my gosh. And Maurice said he liked to take it slow. In his confessional, he said he liked to take it slow. He liked to go slow instead he really get to know a person. I said, Maurice, you're going so slow, you're not even moving. I'm going to need you to pick up the pace, okay? He talking about the good food, the good wine. She's like, oh yeah, the food is good, huh? Mm-hmm. She said, well, after this, I'm going to take a nap. And she, lay down. And she's like, do you take naps? He said, nope. It was crickets out there in the park, y'all. Crickets. Okay, and a picnic is cute and romantic, Sherese, but not if he not gonna talk. And she feels like, oh, Maurice is a good fit because, he has this. We both like to find our things in life. I don't want to be with someone who still has to grow. I've already arrived in my career. I want to enjoy my life. And I want someone else who's at that point. She might have said this later in life, but you can't even have a conversation and have fun with this man. So, like, what? Shit don't make no sense. Anywho, then we see Cameron and Donald meet up with Ashley and Zadia at the bowling alley, right? And so Ashley's complaining because she's like, I ain't heard from Cameron in 2 days. So, it's giving friends, it's giving this and that. We're going to talk to him. So they came, and Zadia said she's having a good time with Cameron. So Zadia also is ready to go on some dates with Cameron. She's complaining that Tamika is not, making these dates happen, okay? She don't want all these blind dates. She want to see Cameron. I think Zadia really does like Cameron, y'all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, though. So, Donald comes up. And Ashley's talking to Donna. She's like, I got a bone to pick with you. You know, I feel some type of way. Because he's asking her, like, how you doing? How your day going? Is better because you saw me? She's like, you want me to be honest or tell the truth? He said, be honest. So then that's when she's like, you know, you ain't contacted me in 2 days. You ain't texted me in 2 days. He was like, what? You didn't get my text? She's like, nope, I didn't get your text. And he's like, what? I text you. You didn't get my text? She's like, no, yeah, I text you. Ashley's in confession. Was like, okay, and text messages is not the only way to communicate in 2023. We got Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. He could pick up the phone and call her. So he pulled out his phone and showing where he did message her 3 times and the messages didn't go through. He's like, in his confession, I don't know if it's an Android to iPhone situation. Like, she need to get an Android, I need to get an iPhone. Like, what we need to do? And Ashley showing no messages on her phone. Now, it ain't no Android to iPhone issue, okay? First of all, and if you got Android, you need to get an iPhone. I'm just gonna say that. No shade to the Android people. I get it why y'all like the Androids. I'm just playing. So anywho, you know what? Let me know what y'all think, okay? Because part of me is like, you know what? I can give Donald the benefit of the doubt because I actually was in a situation like this with my ex. And it was like a Valentine's Day, right? And he didn't text me. We had just started like dating or whatever. And he never texted me Happy Valentine's Day all day that day. So I was super mad, right? So then I'll text him like, oh, I guess I'm just a side chick or something because I was going off, right? And then he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, yeah, because you never told me Happy Valentine's Day or anything today. And so he was like, what? Like, I did text you. Like, what are you saying? And so then he showed me the screenshot of where he texted me. So then I was like, like, yeah, he didn't dock you up the text message. Like, you know, he faking it. You know, I'm not really believing it, but I'm like, whatever. And so then, tell me why y'all, like, days or weeks later, I got the Happy Valentine's Day message from him, like long, like it was a good couple weeks, right? And then I saw an article later on about how like so many people didn't get like these messages till later on that day, and like people was getting mad on Valentine's Day like I was. So that's why I was like, well, I've been in that situation before. And there was another time where I was in that situation where I didn't get a bunch of texts till later, and I was like, what the heck? But anyway, so that's why part of me does believe Donald, and he could prove it on his phone. But I do agree with Ashley at the same time. Like, okay, if you really wanted to communicate, you could have called. You could have DM'd and said, hey, I tried to text you. I don't know if you got it. But then at the same time, you don't be seeming too eager beaver either. So I don't know. But he could have definitely called her. And he did say he likes to, talk in person more than like text and stuff. So you could have called her. Ashley was like, okay, if you really wanted to contact me, you could have called me. So he did apologize, right? And she kind of kept going on and on about it, but he was apologizing. And he was sincere about his apology, I would say that. And so she said she's not going to cry about it no more. She wiping up the spilled milk. She going to enjoy her day. So they doing bowling, Ashley doing the most, of course. They having a good time. So then they sit there and they all 4 couples are talking. I guess Zadia and Cameron won. And so then Donald and Ashley were talking. Ashley was saying something. And so Ashley then is still taking digs at Donald about the communicating, like, but not you, because you don't communicate. And so then he's like, I apologize again. I should have called. I'm sorry. And I was like, dang. Like, she just kept it going a tad too much for me. I'm glad she communicated her feelings. I'm glad she called him out. But the way she just kept it going, I was like, okay, girl, let it go. Relax. It was only 2 days. Relax. I get it. We're in a fast-paced process. We need you to have intentions. I'm not taking that away, but she was just doing a bit much. And then Cameron and Zadia was talking about how they both wear, some loud, colorful clothes. I didn't like Cameron's shirt. I'm sorry. It was ugly to me. I was like, don't show me and Sherese that shirt. I'm just saying that. So then Zadia's like, yeah, I like how they doing over there. I was like, oh my God, Ashley, stop. So anywho, then we see Jabari and Vernesha going to date. They're going to shoot pool. Vernesha does tell Jabari about her date with Walter, how they made the food. And he's like, oh, okay, I'm glad he told you how to make that meal for me. Tell him I said thank you. Vernesha said that Jabari don't like when she go on these other dates. Then they were shooting pool and talking, having a good time. He said he asking about having a pool table in the man cave or something. Then they sat down to talk, and he was asking her about, like, cooking and cleaning and gender roles and all that. And she said she does believe a man should be the one who's providing. And so, she says she wants to keep maintaining the lifestyle that she has. She's worked hard for her lifestyle. She wants to maintain that. He said, okay, what is the number? What is the threshold, to keep you at that certain level? And so she didn't name a number. Of course, she ain't got no number of Jabari. She's like, let me just put it this way. Like, I live comfortable. I want to continue to live comfortably. Like, I'm an entrepreneur, so sky's the limit for me. So Jabari said, well, I'm an employee. So, like, there's a ceiling for him, which I totally get as an employee myself. So, and everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur, y'all. I'm kind of tired of social media pushing everyone to be an entrepreneur, and that ain't everybody's thing, okay? Some people are meant to do that, and some people are not, and that's okay. Some people like more structure of a 9 to 5, and that's okay too. I like having more structure. Like, I need to know where to be and when to be there. Like, because if you leaving up to my schedule, I might get lazy. So, I get it. Then he said, well, something about having 2-person income, and she said, the way the economy is set up, she good with that. She might need to get her a 9 to 5. And they high-fived on that. But I was like, I don't know if Vernesha really, that's going to be really her thing. We're going to see. Then later on, we get down to the house. Tamika Lee asked the girls about their dates, and they're saying how they had the same dates. And she said, she kind of wanted to compare and contrast, figure out what they like. She's kind of scared to push them out their limits, but, she did a little bit. She asked them how they felt about being in competition with each other. Ashley said there's no competition here. She did ask each girl about their day. Ashley really likes Kirsten, and they really vibed. I think Ashley just put a little bit more on it. Zadia didn't like the silent prayer. She's like, he was cool. Vernesha really liked Walter. Sherese also really liked Walter, okay? So then Tamika Lee says, okay, we're going to invite the keepers over. You're going to decide to keep them, or you're going to move on to your blind date. I wish we had like a little bit more time. They would slow the process down, but I get it. So and why wasn't Walter and Kirsten invited to the house? But whatever. So anywho, that man come, Ashley still talking to Donald about this dang who call who, text who, I'm over it. Let's see, Cameron and Zadia. Zadia decides to keep Cameron. Okay, no surprise there. Vernesha decides to keep Jabari. I wouldn't have been mad if Vernesha decided to go on with Walter, though. Like, I could see her with Jabari, but I kind of wanted to see Walter in the mix. I really did. I liked Walter. Then Sherese and Maurice were talking, and she's talking about communicating, and sometimes people don't communicate the same, and we want to make sure people are on the same page. And he said he's not a big talker like that, but he does say things and it's time to say it. And he's like, you just be saying words and all this stuff. I was like, oh my God, Maurice is so tired. He is tired. And then Sherese, like, just say what it is. Tell him he mute. Tell him he don't talk enough. Like, she dancing around the conversation talking about, oh, I want to make sure we both communicate. No, I want to say, oh, you're a good communicator. No, he's not. I didn't get what Sherese is. Oh my gosh. Sherese is exhausting. I can't even take her no more. So anywho, then Maurice and Sherese go in the kitchen and get some air. Maurice said he ain't worried about getting dumped. He know he ain't going nowhere. And that's the other thing. Maurice is so confident for somebody on mute. Okay, he's doing the Beyonce everybody on mute challenge all day. I'm like, don't you talk for a living as a lawyer? Like, what is the issue? So anyway, long story short, Sherese decided to keep Maurice. I really wish Sherese would have went with Walter. I don't understand why she didn't. I'm thinking because he looked more like her standard and maybe Walter didn't. Just the aesthetics of it all. Not that Walter didn't look good and put together, because he did as well. So anyway, she kept Maurice. Nobody chose Walter. Vernesha chose Jabari. She's like, we talked about, your finances and your income. I'm still keep you. I was like, girl, what? What? I was like, nobody kept Walter? Dang. So anywho, Then we get to Ashley talking to Donald. She's like, I'm just everywhere. She said Kirsten is running through her mind right now with the Baywatch red shorts on. And she's like, I just so many emotions right now. And next thing we know, this girl started crying and left the sofa. Donald sitting there looking crazy. I was like, Ashley, what is going on? So next week we're going to see her crying. Next week we're going to see Vernesha telling Jabari that he should keep his options open. I was like, Vernesha, girl, you don't tell your left hand what your right hand is doing, in the words of my granny, okay? You let Jabari, do what he want to do, and then you go do what you want to do, but don't mention. Don't tell him to go play around somewhere else. You do you, okay? Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about that. We'll talk about it more next week. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to y'all again soon. Bye.